Werrebiaivi, mun amala Elle-Máijá Tailfeathers, ja mun on eret saamis ja gana vasta blood reservatas. Mua niille maguiniski vai Esther Tailfeathers ja mu ahtile Bjarne Stori Jacobsen. Hi, my name's Elle-Máijá Tailfeathers. I come from Sápmi, which is the indigenous territory of the Sami people of Northern Europe. And I also come from Ghana or Kainai or the Blood Reserve, which is part of the Blackfoot Confederacy in southern Alberta and Montana. And my mother is Esther Tailfeathers and my father is Bjarne Stori Jacobsen. And I live in Vancouver. I am a filmmaker and sometimes I act, but mostly I make films. When I was a little girl, we lived up in Sápmi, which is way up in the Arctic Circle, and it gets really dark in the wintertime. So you basically don't see the sun for like 3 or 4 months. And so my mom was really wonderful about finding ways to be creative at home. And I don't know, I guess creative expression was something that was just always really important to me and something that was nurtured through my mother. And it was while I was at UBC that I was exposed to this like wealth of incredible work created by Indigenous artists and Indigenous filmmakers. So I finally discovered that there's this whole community of Indigenous women all over the world making incredible films. They're just independent and kind of hard to get access to if you don't necessarily have access to them. It's a long story, but I ended up making my first short film called Bloodland, which was essentially like a response to fracking or hydraulic fracturing happening on our territory back home on the Blood Reserve. And I found the experience of creating a film or a piece of art as a response to a social justice issue or an issue that I thought was really important. I found that experience to be really empowering and discovered that that was something I just wanted to continue doing, was to make films, but make films that had some sort of meaning and social impact, so that it wasn't just like a vanity project or something like that. In terms of indigenizing the world I live in or my work and living decolonization, I mean, those are huge terms, and they're really hard to define, and even harder to define in terms of like how they actually apply to your life, and they can mean so many different things for each individual. You know, you'll have a different definition of what decolonizing means or what indigenizing means, but for me, I was raised to be really proud of who I am and where I come from, and it's been such an important part of my identity, is that I come from these two places, and I have a really close relationship, especially with my grandparents. And for me, it's just really important to be creating work that makes my grandparents proud, like something that I know has some sort of meaning for them, so that I know that I'm not like out in the world just creating whatever, but creating something that has meaning for my family and my community and where I come from. Remembering where I come from has always kept me really grounded and rooted in reality, and also has given me direction in what I'm doing. So I guess in terms of indigenizing my work, it's just always remembering where I come from and thinking of my family and my community, whether that be back home on the reserve or in Sápmi or here in Vancouver with the urban Indigenous community here, to always keep those communities in mind when I'm creating my work, and to think about how my work is going to be received by them, and if it's gonna like generate any sort of more interesting conversation or push the boundaries a bit further on what we can talk about and what's important to us today.